Hey guys, welcome back. Sims Beauty here with another video. So the last time we talked about marriage. So I think I left a couple of things out of that video, so I wanted to add it into here. So today is let's talk about marriage part 2. Alright, so the first thing that I would say when you're either considering getting married or you're already married, I would say for those who are not married but are considering getting married, I think a good tip would be however you get married, whether it be at the Justice of Peace, whether you actually have a ceremony or whatever the case may be, I think that getting a copy of your vows, well, if you wrote your own vows, I think it's important to give your partner a copy of those vows and vice versa. And I say this because you can always go back and have the copy of the vows as a point of reference, right? So when I got married, I did do this. I had our vows printed out. I gave my husband a copy and I gave myself a copy. So what I would do when we first got married and we would have issues, I would always tell my husband, go back and reread your vows. Of course, the vows isn't a contract, but this is what you're promising in front of God or whatever denomination you are. So I would highly suggest, if you're getting married, to give your spouse a copy of your vows if you wrote your own vows, or if the pastor has vows that he's reciting, ask for a copy. Again, I think it's a great idea to have a point of reference. The second thing I would say is to really read those vows and break it down. Have an understanding about what it is that you're, signing up for in a way. So the two main lines and vows that matter to me is until death do you part and sickness and health. Now, again, I told you guys I got married when I was 26 or 27. And I had no idea that my accident was going to happen 4 years into our marriage. I didn't have an idea. My husband didn't have an idea, but it's something that happened. And I think that it's really important to think about, if something happens to this person, if this person becomes paralyzed, will I be able to stay with this person? If this person, becomes really ill, will I be able to do my part? And really consider this, because if you cannot do it, then don't sign up for it, because it's very important. Like, a lot of people, they look at me and they're like, oh, that's so nice your husband didn't leave you. And my thing is, I'm looking at them like they're crazy. Like, why would my husband leave me because I'm sick? That was a part of our vows. Sickness or health. Sickness or health. Whether I'm healthy or not, we're supposed to stick together. It's just like I told you guys when I had my transplant done, that my husband ended up getting hurt 9 days after I, had surgery. I was supposed to be being taken care of, but then I became the caretaker. My husband, when I say he hurt himself 9 days after, it wasn't like he sprained his ankle. He actually accidentally shot himself in the hand. He had to have 7 operations. And when I said I was arguing with the staff, they were saying, ma'am, you just had surgery. How are you saying that you're going to be here taking care of him when you clearly need help? Those are the things that you have to do as a spouse. I mean, I could have said, oh, well, I'm going to go home and, I'm just going to worry about me. But then I'm not really doing my part if I'm at home just worried about me and my husband is 40 miles away, Again, everybody do things different. That's how I do things. Again, if my husband is not right, I'm not okay. I'm not going to be okay if my husband is 40 miles away from me in the hospital and I'm at home chilling. Like, I'm not going to be okay. And I just wanted y'all to know, y'all see this little smoke, it's because I have a aromatherapy diffuser up ahead, so you may see that. I just wanted to clarify that. Yeah, so I did what I had to do as a wife. I didn't complain about it. I didn't make my husband feel bad about it. Actually, the day that it happened at 11 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, usually my husband and I, we check in if we're out, you know, babe, I just got down here, babe, I'm going here, babe, I'm on my way home, whatever the case may be. And I do the same, you know, because it's nothing like sitting home wondering if your partner is okay. So it's just best we check in, let the other spouse know what's going on, where we're at, this and other. So my husband was just supposed to go to Philly real quick and come back. But that didn't happen. He ended up going to Philly, hurting himself. And the sad thing is, he was very scared to call me, which it was like, I was surprised. I was really surprised. Once I found out, I didn't find out until like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And I just happened to call his phone and I didn't get an answer. And I called back and I didn't get an answer. And automatically, I knew something was wrong. So, his sister eventually ended up calling me and letting me know. And I couldn't drive because I had medication in my system. So I had to let my son, who, I'm not going to say he just started driving, but he wasn't really driving to the city like that. I had to rely on him to take me, but it didn't matter how I got there. I just knew that I was going to get there. And that's exactly what I did. When my husband saw me, he just started to cry. And it was like, because he felt like he had let me down. And I said, babe, it's not even about that. It's about, we have another situation right now and we need to stick together. We're going to get through it. None of it matters. Not how it happened, when it happened, why it happened. None of that matters. The only thing that matters now is that I am here and I'm going to be with you every step of the way. And that's what I did. The other part of vows is for richer or poor. Now, we talked about this a little bit. I said I feel like it's very unfair if a person comes to a marriage looking for something. And ironically, you know, I just had this conversation with my husband this morning, not about us, but speaking in general. I feel like people born in the 70s and the 80s, it's just a different time. It's not, marriages aren't like they used to be, where, you know, the husband would go to work, the mom would stay home and take care of the kids and this and the other. And usually those people were typically married for a long period of time. It's not like that now. Now I won't say everybody, there is a large number of people out here looking to marry up. There's a large number of people out here who's looking to benefit from the person that they're marrying. So, for example, do you know how, and I don't want to seem like I'm being like a man hater, because I'm not. I'm just using this as an example because it's the most common one I know. Do you know how you can see a girl with children and she's a single mother, but even though she's a single mom, she's going to school, she got a good job, she got her own place, you know, she's doing her thing. And all of a sudden, this guy comes out of nowhere. He's trying to be a renter dad, right? But then this person doesn't even take care of their own kids, but they're willing to do whatever and, you know, anything that you ask them to do in regards to your kids, right? He marries you, right? But he doesn't have anything to offer. You're getting up, going to work every day, and he's laying in the bed. You're getting up, going to work, and you have to go shovel, you know, clear off your own car, you know, clear the snow off your own car. Or you're getting up for work and you got to take out the trash, but this guy is still like, ladies and fellas, please do not get into a situation where this other party is looking for you to make a way for them, whether it be career opportunities, whether it be marrying somebody because they family have money, or marrying somebody because that person's situation is better than yours. So again, we were talking about, say, this single mother with 2 children who has a job, has her own place, this and other, but this young man lives in his mama's basement, but now he's living with you. He's in a better situation now because he's not living under his mom's roof, but he's now living in the house with you, with your kids, as you get, you know, continue to do what you were doing. But now, instead of you just worrying about you and your kid, you now have this grown adult who's more than able to go out and get a job. You're now dragging this person, trying to help them become a better person. Now, I'm not saying that just because a person doesn't have it right then and there, that's not a reason to marry them. Because, of course, everyone has potential, right? What I'm saying is, look for the red flags. If you're with this person, take your time. If you're dating somebody and the whole year you've been dating them, or the whole 3 months you've been dating them, or the whole 6 months you've been dating them, this person has not gotten up and went to a job, that's just showing you how motivated they are. Those are the things that you need to be looking at. That is why I say looks does not matter. Looks doesn't matter. Characteristics matter. Because a person can be unattractive, right? But they have a beautiful spirit. Have you ever met somebody that's, a lot of people say, oh, you know, that person isn't the most attractive person, but they have such a beautiful spirit that it makes them beautiful? That can happen. It's not always about looks. It's not always about that. To me, it's more about characteristics, because those characteristics are going to carry us more down the line than your looks. Looks can change. You can get into an accident and your face could get messed up. Somebody could be thin when you met them, but then they're 100, 200, 300, 600 pounds now because they've been sitting in your house the whole time y'all been together eating bonbons, honey buns, Swiss rolls. I'm not even trying to be funny, but these are the things that happen. If people just take their time, slow it down, allow the person to really show you who they are. And I'm saying, show me who you are before I let you move into my house. You know what I'm saying? You want to be careful, because there is nobody out here walking outside with a sign across their head. I'm a user. I'm a pedophile. People are not branded like that. So if you just take your time, pray about it, write down those characteristics, speak it into existence, and wait patiently, you'll be good. You'll be good. So be careful about the rich or poor, or sickness or health. Ask the person, if I was to get into an accident and both of my legs got cut off, would you still be here? Like, I have known people who was in a marriage and they were working, providing, doing this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. Something happened. They got really sick. And guess what? Their partner left them. That's one of the first things I said to my husband when I saw him at the hospital. I said, babe, it does not matter whether you have a finger, whether you're missing fingers, whether they have to cut off both of your hands, cut off your arms and your legs. I'm still going to be here. I'm not going anywhere. I think that's important to let your spouse know. And my husband tells me that, because when I first got into my accident, my pain was so bad. I was so moody. I was so depressed that I actually told my husband, you know, I love you enough to let you go and find somebody who is in a better situation that I am in. That's not, you know, having all these health issues and this and the other. I have offered that to my husband several times, not because I'm looking for a way out, or not because I don't think he has my back, but I don't want to be a burden to anybody, right? But it's my husband's job, it's my husband's job to reinforce and let me know that, babe, it's okay. Okay, you had an accident. It wasn't your fault. That's why it's an accident. But I am here to walk you through it. And he does. He goes to all of my appointments. All of my doctors know him. He knows everything that's going on. If I was unconscious and I was not able to speak for myself, he would be able to tell every doctor that I have, or a new doctor who doesn't even know me, everything that's been going on with me, everything that I ever, you know, my past medical history, all the medications I'm on, all of that. He would be able to do that. That's the type of person you want in your corner. I'm just saying, sometimes you have to wait and let people show you who they are. Do not jump in head first. You never want to make a decision, and this is with any decision. Any decision. You never want to make a decision out of emotion. You don't ever want to, like, say, oh, I want a divorce because you're mad. Be careful about what you say, because sometimes you can say it and it will happen. Then that's your reality because you created it. Words are very powerful, and once you say those words, you cannot take them back because you already released it. You can't take them back. So you have to be careful and very mindful about what you say. What I would say is, if you're emotional about a situation, step back. Take a deep breath. There is nothing saying that you have to tackle that problem right then and there. You can take a step back. Say you and a person's arguing. Okay, y'all in the same house. That person's upstairs. You go downstairs and give yourself a breather. And when you feel good and you're not as emotional, then try to tackle that problem. But do not make any rash decisions out of emotions, because you will set yourself up for failure. I'm just saying. So the second thing I would say that's important, you have to learn how to fight fair. We touched on this a little bit in part 1 when I said you don't have to be strategic about fighting, but you want to pick your battles wisely. So there is a psychiatrist, I can't remember his name, but you can Google it, and he speaks about the 4 horsemen of a relationship. So I did have to take a couple notes so I could remember all this. My short-term memory is crappy. I don't know what. I could literally be talking about something, blink my eyes, and forget completely what I'm talking about. It happens all the time. I know, like, y'all see me on the video and I'm talking and talking and talking, but when I'm not on camera, I'm like, honey, what was I just talking about? And my husband has to remind me. I swear I'm not lying. So the 4 horsemen of a relationship is criticism, content, defensiveness, and stonewalling. So criticism, you want to be very careful about criticizing your partner, right? Because your partner is not there to be a punching bag or a doormat. You don't want to emasculate your husband, or, you know, the vice versa. You don't want to make somebody feel less than. You have to be very careful about criticism, because you can say something to somebody and it can shut them down immediately. That is one of the things that it took me the longest. That was the longest thing out of the 11 years being married. That was the longest. It took me a very long time to learn that, right? Because I used to be, and I still kind of am, I'm one of those people that sometimes I don't have a filter. I just say whatever. And I also have a temper. So sometimes somebody can make me feel some type of way, and then I want to make them feel that same way. Now, is that the most Christian thing to do? No, it's not. But there is no perfect person. No one's human. And again, as I said, love starts with self, right? That's a part of me. That's something I have to love about myself. It's a flaw, and I've been working on it, but that's my reality right now. That's something I'm working on to change, right? Is my temper. The same advice that I'm giving you guys is the same advice that I give to myself. I'm not one of those people who preach and don't take my own advice. I take my own advice, and then I try to share what I learned with other people, okay? So criticism, you want to be careful about when you're relaying messages to your spouse. Say if your spouse is not a clean freak, but you are, right? You don't want to go to your spouse like, Oh my God, every time I turn around, you're making a mess. You do this, you do that. That you word is a negative. I am telling you up front and right now. Do not start off a conversation with, you did this, you did that, you don't do this, you don't do that. That is not the way to go, because that is an instant argument. Everybody should become defensive if we're having a talk, but you're just telling me everything I'm doing wrong. That's not going to work. You have to reword it. Sometimes it's not what you say, it's how you say it. So, for example, honey, I noticed that when I clean up the downstairs, somehow it gets messed up. Because I take my time cleaning up, when I go downstairs and it's messed up, it makes me feel like this. It makes me feel like I wasted my time. Right? It makes me feel like I'm not appreciated for the things that I do. I'm just wondering, how can we work this out? What is it that we can do to make sure that these things don't happen? Do you have any suggestions? Right? Now, I could have easily said, babe, I'm the one who cleaned up the house, but every time I turn around, you're dropping trash, or you're cooking and not cleaning up your mess. Which one sounds better? The first way I said it or the second way? Put it down in the comments below. Tell me which one of those scenarios would set you off, and which one, you would be like, well, dang, I never thought about that. Maybe that's something that I do need to work on. Sometimes you have to give people open-ended questions. Sometimes you just say, this is a situation. What do you think about that? Whatever the case may be. You have to be very careful about how you talk to your partner, because that is your other half. And if you don't want anybody talking to you like that, then why would you talk to your partner like that? Those are the things you have to consider when you're married. You just can't say what you want to say and do the things that you want to do, because this is still another human being with feelings. Think about it. If someone treated your son that way or your daughter that way, would you like it? And if the answer is no, then that means you shouldn't treat your partner that way, because that is someone's son or daughter. I'm just saying. The second one, defensiveness. If you notice that your partner gets upset every time you say something, or you say something a certain way, stop saying it. You know when your partner gets defensive. Again, it's not about what you say. It's about how you say it. You can say the same thing many different ways. I'm telling you, if I would have known this in the beginning, I could have avoided a whole lot of arguments. Because one thing, I don't like to argue. And I daggone sure don't like to argue with my husband. I will say in a minute, I am not going to finish this conversation. I'm going to sit down and I'm going to let you say what you want to say. But then, is that really helping us? Because that means I'm becoming defensive. You don't ever want to have an argument where one party is defensive, or both of y'all are defensive. It's just, you don't want to do it. Right? Contempt. You don't want to be in a situation where there are things that's continuously happening in your relationship, or you guys have situations in your relationship that y'all don't have closure from, right? So one of the things that I can think of off the top of my head is infidelity. Say you're in a relationship with somebody and that person cheated on you, and you said you forgave that person. If you haven't forgave that person, don't tell them that you did, especially if you're going to bring it up 10 years later, 2 years later, the next day, next month, next year, next week. However, if you have not forgiven that person, you guys need to get closure with that situation so that it will stop, arising. Because that is what happens. When you have unfinished business or you don't have closure in your relationship, you'll notice that the same things keep coming up or appearing every time you guys get into an argument. Every time. If you guys argue about the same thing every time, say you guys was arguing about somebody not washing the dishes. Babe, you saw the dishes in there. Why didn't you wash them? This and the other, blah, blah, blah. But then you start talking about Lulu that he cheated with before y'all got married, when y'all first started dating. And because Lulu still live around the way, you feel some type of way. Like, no. If you cannot forgive your partner and truly forgive your partner, you need to move on. And if you do forgive your partner, don't bring it up. Now, I know that this is harder, you know, easier said than done, but that's why you have to practice and, you know, take baby steps and think about what you're going to say before you say it. Because that's the thing. Everybody has an opportunity to think about what they say before it come out their mouth. Everybody has that opportunity. So it shouldn't be, oh man, sorry, that just slipped out. No, because you had a chance to think about it before you said it. Right? So you want to be careful about contempt and feeling resentful. You don't want to be in a situation where you let something ride, like infidelity, right? You let that ride and then you're now resenting your spouse because you're like, oh, well, this person cheated on me so many times and I'm still here. You did that to yourself. You didn't have to be in that situation. It's either you accept what the person does and you forgive them, or you reject it and you move on. You always have an option. Nobody has to be stuck. Nobody. So, and the last one is stonewalling. Stonewalling is when you guys are in a heated argument. I mean, you're hitting each other below the belt. You saying stuff that you know you shouldn't say. Things you know you don't mean. And then y'all just stop talking. And y'all mad. Now we're giving the silent treatment. I'm not talking to such and such. He's on punishment. I'm not giving him any this, that, and the other. Is this kindergarten? Are you that person's parent? No, you don't get the right to punish somebody. And if you're withholding any type of whatever benefit, there is 100,000 million people out here that can do the same thing that you can do or do it better. I'm just being real. Is it worth giving each other a silent treatment for a whole week and then somebody goes out to go to work and then they get in a car accident and die? Is it worth it? Because once that person is dead, you can't take it back. There's no need to be sitting up there crying, oh, he was the love of my life. Was he? Because you didn't talk to him for 5 whole days. You know what could happen in 5 days? When a person is going, it's too late. And let me tell y'all about dying, okay? Everybody thinks, oh my God, you know, you hear the saying, oh, when I die, I'm going to meet my loved one in heaven. Let me tell you about heaven, okay? For those who don't know, again, I am a Christian, so I'm just going off of my faith. When you die and you go to wherever you're going, whether it be heaven or hell, there is no marriages in heaven. There is no mother, daughter, father, son's relationship. Everybody's there just to serve God. You're not going to remember anybody. You're not going to remember your husband. You're not going to remember your mom and dad. You're not going to remember your brothers. You're not going to remember your siblings. You're not going to remember anybody. Only thing you're there to do in heaven is to serve God. So if you think, well, you know, I'm going to be with this person in the afterlife and through life. Nope, you're not. Sorry. There is no marriage in the afterlife. You will not be married in heaven. You won't remember your spouse. You know what that means? You only have one time to get it right. You only have one time to get it right. And that puts things in perspective for me, because that's something that my husband just revealed to me 2 months ago. I kept saying, you know, we're going to be married forever. We're going to be married in heaven. And he said, babe, I'm sorry, but no, you're not even going to remember me. And I was like, I'm not going to remember you? Like, we're really not going to be married in heaven? You're not going to remember me? I'm not going to remember you? For real? Are you serious? That hurt my heart, because I really was one of those people, and I'm using myself as an example because I always do. I was one of those people that said, oh, well, you know, I have a whole lifetime with this person. And you really don't, because you never know when God is ready to call a person home. You just don't know. So the best thing you can do, and this is something that I've been doing for a long time, I would say the last 5 years. I try to treat people as if it's their last day on earth. If I get into an argument with someone, I want to fix that before it's time to go to bed. You know what I'm saying? Certain things can't wait, because there is no guarantee that that person is going to wake up the next day, or that you're going to wake up the next day. And once a person leaves the earth, it is too late. It's too late to be crying, falling out at the funeral, dropping to the floor, fake passing out, trying to crawl in the casket. Lord, take me. Like, it's too late. It's too late. That is way too late. So I would suggest anybody, I would suggest this for everybody, and not just when it comes to relationships. Anybody. You want to treat people as if it's their last day. You don't want to take for granted somebody's going to be here. And you don't want to have a negative experience with somebody. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. If you know somebody is doing something to aggravate you, walk away. It's not worth getting that person back. It's not worth being vindictive. None of that is worth it. It's not worth it. And my motto, and anybody who knows me personally know I say this all the time, I am not going to allow somebody else to send me to hell. And what I mean by that is, I'm not going to let somebody else, meanness, evilness, whatever you want to call it, attitude, whatever they're going through, I'm not going to let them make me act out of character to do something back to them that's I know is not right, that can potentially send me to hell, right? So that goes, that includes being disrespectful to your relatives. I don't know about everybody else's family, but in my family, again, I'm 37 years old. I have a relative that's older than I am. And I don't think just because I'm an adult now that I get to call these people by their first name. No, I still address people aunt, uncle, cousin, mom, dad. You know, my brothers are older than me. I am the baby. I show my brothers a level of respect. Even if they piss me off and they say something that hurt my feelings, I might let them know, you know, that really hurt my feelings, and because I'm emotional about it, I'm going to get off the phone and I'm going to go take a breather, and then we can finish this conversation when we don't have to yell at each other, because it's just not worth it. And I've come to the point where I've already had a life or death situation. I had a pulmonary embolism. I had a blood clot in my lung. So that kind of changed my whole perspective on how I treat people. Because I remember when I was a teenager, my grandmom used to say, you know, Tisha, you can't just say what you want to say. You don't get to treat people the way you want to treat them. Because when I was a teenager, I was one of those, again, I didn't have a filter. So I was a very blunt, honest person. And even though what I said was true, I probably could have said it a better way, where it wouldn't have hurt that person's feelings. So those are the things, that's something that I had to work on as an individual. And anybody, again, who knows me personally knows that if they come and ask me for help, I'm going to help them. But please don't come to me and tell me that you need help and then make me waste my time helping you and you don't really want to help. You just have to be careful about your energy. You have to be, listen, self-love. If it doesn't feel good to you, don't do it, because it starts with you. You have to remember, you came in this world by yourself, and you're going to leave this world by yourself. So you should never get too attached to somebody that you can't live without. And that is why I said in the other video was, if you're one of those people that use relationships to make you feel better, then you need to spend time with yourself. And if you cannot spend time with yourself, I recommend not getting into a relationship, because how can you love somebody if you don't even love yourself? Where did your definition of love come from? Is it from the TV, something you read? What? And self-love, that is something we'll talk about in another video. That will probably be my next video, because I used to be a people pleaser. But again, we'll talk about that in another video. But I just, oh my God, 35 minutes. 35 minutes. I was like, I'm going to try to make this 15, 20 minutes, and I fell. Okay. So I am going to wrap this up, because I don't know how many people watched my 41 minute video, but probably a lot of people did not, because it was so long. Okay. But let me hurry up, wrap this up. Okay. Please like, share, subscribe, comment down below. Let me know if any of these tips were helpful. Let me know if you agree or disagree with anything that I said. Do you have any tips for me? I'm still looking for tips. Okay. Anybody want to help assist out? All right, guys. Let me let you guys go. I hope you guys have a very blessed day. And until next time, guys, peace, love, and blessings. Have a great day, guys. Until the next one. See ya.